But the whole point of today is to try and do something that's a little bit different. I'm the founder of AudioLock, which is an anti-piracy and technical company, but that's where sort of it ends in terms of the relevance, because really it's just about some technical knowledge I have and things I hear and ideas I sort of come up with. I've sort of noticed that there's various things that go on in the music industry all the time that a lot of people might not even be aware of. So where you're putting a lot of effort into doing something like Facebook Live broadcasts that Gavin does down here, I'll introduce himself shortly, then you put all the effort doing that, but there's things actually that are working against you, and there's actually ways to get around this. A lot of people actually don't even know they exist, so we're going to try and unearth some of those and then literally work through them. But if you've got anything you want to throw in as we're going, any questions, or you don't understand something, just say, because the whole point today is we're kind of doing this on the fly, so we will actually help and sort of guide. And these guys are in the same situation as well. They've all come in cold on this, so we're literally going to try and do this as we go. So if you'd like to introduce yourselves first, do you want to start?
So I'm Nathan. I make house music and dance music under the name LikeSon. I've been sort of making music now for about coming on to about 10 years, on and off under different names and whatnot, different genres. Just last year had like my debut single out under LikeSon, which called Freakin'. Now just hit 1.2 million streams on Spotify, which has been really good. And loads of success and opportunities is coming from the back of that.
Hi, I'm Eddie Craig, one half of the White Boys. Been making music for a very long time. Have remixed lots and lots of artists, from Beyonce to Rihanna, Justin Bieber. Done tracks with people like Boy Better Know. So I've covered a very big and diverse range of music over the years.
My name is Gavin Foord. I'm part of a group called FooR who make garage music. I run 2 labels. DJ, I haven't done any of the impressive stuff these guys have done, so I'm not going to try and beat it. I'm just going to sit back and just say I do that.
Hello, my name is Roohan. I work for a record label called NewState. We're quite well known for our compilation albums, one of which Gavin here.
Oh yeah, I mixed a Pure Garage album which came out from NewState. It was a top 10 dancing album. Number 2.
It's early.
So yeah, through my work at NewState, I've actually worked with all these chaps sat next to me, released music from Gavin, singles, albums. I released Nathan LikeSon's debut single, worked with White Boys for a number of years. They've remixed lots of our tracks, such as Drum Sound Bass Line Smith. So yeah, we do lots of music related stuff. So that's us.
And the reason we've got these different guys here is because they're all at different stages as well. So Chris actually is in sort of the record industry, actually helping get people there, doing the licensing, putting compilations together, doing the marketing, and getting everything out there in sort of a business sense. We've been doing that very successfully for quite a long time. And then these guys are, you actually start getting their sort of brand or persona actually up there and marketing and getting their products sort of polished as well. Obviously got stuff that's been around for a little while, and then Gav as well is trying to push forward at his own labels as well. So there's lots of different things going on here that they're all interested in, but they're all sort of getting affected by some of the same things we're going to go through. So one of the things I wanted to quickly ask, does everyone here know what blockchain is? If you know what blockchain actually is, do you want to put your hand up? Okay, it's not too bad. So for those who don't know, this is what people seem to portray blockchain as: money and technology. And unfortunately, I think that it's a slight misnomer in some of it, in that everyone's always talking about the word blockchain, whereas actually the technical part of what blockchain is that it's just a ledger. So it is actually just for keeping transactions in there. Now, blockchain actually has 2 main parts to it in terms of, I think, what's relevant and sort of interesting in discussion here is, one is the actual blockchain part of it is literally just a ledger that you can't edit or delete a record every time you have a transaction. So online it'll be downloads or streams or anything else like that. Every time that occurs, they'll get recorded on this ledger. So it's called a Foord ledger, and it's what companies have been using for many, many years to do their sort of accounting with. Now, the key thing here is that blockchain is a distributed one. So if we all, for example, had this as our single ledger, it means we can all share it, we can all add to it, we can't delete or edit. And we also can see everything each other's done, so there's a transparency here. And that's what the technology part of blockchain brings to it, is a database essentially that you can record all the transactions in, you can see it. So, you know, in theory you'd get to go on and see all your streams and plays as they're happening and know that actually that is what it is, and it hasn't been, you know, adulterated or anything along the way as well. So, you know, we're actually able to all add our padlocks onto it, so, you know, got that security there. But what's really smart about the sort of blockchain side of it, and I think isn't sort of talked about so much, is the flexibility of actually being able to license music and do what you like with it. So some of the examples and things we're going to talk about are where actually there isn't the ability to license it, so it's actually created this sort of hole which is getting exploited one way or another, and people are just unaware of it. So it's great technology that's going forward in terms of actually being able to adapt and make our lives a little bit easier. So I just wanted to cover that a little bit because there seems to be a little bit of a misnomer about it all. So let's talk about one of the things that really gets in the way of things. So Google search, right? So if you're actually going to go and search and find your track, your release, about 5% of people will ever go to page 2 of Google, okay? So those 10 links on page 1 are really, really important. Now, I've talked to a couple of guys here about it, but part of the problem is, if you search for something, like here I was searching for, it was drip uproot. You can see here, these links here. Now they look like they're sort of download or something related to the track. This is on page 1 of Google. They're all click scam sites. So these here, none of them actually give you the content. Now, click scam sites are a real big problem for you guys, and anyone trying to do any marketing, so where you're doing your Facebook sort of live all the time, Gav, and where you're actually putting out marketing messages about releases, and Chris, we talked earlier this week about where you're actually putting up little promos onto SoundCloud as well. And in every time that you're sort of doing that, it's creating noise, and there's things that's getting in the way of your actual message that you're trying to convey. And to show you how bad it is, so this at the top, I'll tell you, it's searching Z, the middle, and just MP3 download. Now, we can also say it's quite a legitimate search because we actually did this in the cafe over the road, and Google told us to do this because we typed in Z, the middle, and it said, oh, you meant MP3 download as well. So we did that. That's the 10 links, and absolutely 100% of those are click scam. So we looked for the track. It's obviously quite a big track, and there's literally nothing on page 1 of Google for it. And the problem with these click scam sites is that you go onto it, and it looks like it's, you know, you can play it or download it. But actually they're getting the data, they're making these pages that fill up those 10 links, and basically means that no one's going to find that bit of content in that way. Here, it's because they're actually getting the content from YouTube or in some places SoundCloud. And this is something that's got to be sort of careful of, and I don't think people are really sort of aware of it. So while we all know that we use SoundCloud and places like that to put promos up, and perhaps a 30-second edit or something, but we put it up pre-release. Unfortunately, the pirates know this as well, and so they make pages that fill up Google like that about the release, so that it's just getting in the way of what you're trying to do. And just to give you a bit more of an idea about it, we then clicked through, and we went to this thing on the right here, and again, still couldn't actually access the content at all, but you'll notice how the name's written and how it's actually written on YouTube. So they've literally just gone and scraped data off YouTube and made all these pages, pretending to be your release that you can actually download on that page there, but it's all getting in the way of the messaging. So if you're doing like the Facebook Live stuff and you're putting out things on Facebook, or you're trying to put out press releases, or you've got bits and pieces sort of coming up and you've got things out on sort of Twitter, you want them to go to there, or your actual proper SoundCloud page, all of this stuff is getting in the way of it. So it's actually filling up Google in the first place. Now, there's actually a way to stop this. So if I just show you, there's a couple more here going through. This is quite an interesting one. Show you how fake this is. This is the same page twice. Ridley, can you point out to me what's wrong with that?
I haven't got my glasses.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's the megabytes. So you'll see that I loaded the page twice, and one it says 6.27 megabytes and 5.87, because these pages are entirely fake. It's literally making it up and just putting the name of the track and things here to try and appear in Google search. So it's trying to fill up. So anyone trying to market this, these are the pages that are going to get in the way of it, all right? So be really aware of this, because it's happening to a crazy, crazy extent. I mean, we did, let's have a look at what, so here's another one. So, to give you, this is how weird it is. So this is one of the ones when I typed in Z, the middle, MP3 download. So we've got here, ancientmarinemusic.com, which is that site, which you wouldn't really expect, would you? There you go, interesting domain name to pick for that. But it just gives you an exact example. And this particular site It's only 3 weeks old, and it's got 250-something thousand links in Google as well. So these are a real big problem, getting in the way of what you're trying to do. So we've got an idea on how to fix it though. So because it's using all the metadata from when you're on SoundCloud and YouTube, when you're uploading your promos onto these sites, Google is what's called a relevance engine. And so when you're searching for it, it thinks the middle is the most important thing because it's the title when it's on SoundCloud. So here is when you're actually doing something as, Chris, you were doing a promo this week for an EP, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So Chris is putting up an EP onto SoundCloud, so you wanted to use SoundCloud as a player, because then you're promoting it through Facebook and putting it in other places?
Yeah, generally we'll always use SoundCloud as the kind of first place where we preview our new music, because it's easy to do. It's easier and quicker than going on to any other platform, I guess.
And so unbeknown to Chris, if you just did that normally, is he would create all those pages and start filling out Google. And this happens automatically. I mean, we had, so I was at Music Connected on Friday last week, and in the audio side, we've got a piracy score tool that you just put in your track details and it'll go sort of looking straight away and see what piracy there is. And we had people come out and say, ours won't be on there at all, you know, it's only a tiny small release. And they actually got excited when it found piracy, and it's like, it's not really a positive thing to get excited about, but when we went and actually had a look at it, it's because it's all automated, because these, you know, pirates literally got these automated little bits of software running doing it. So when you put something up on SoundCloud, in the example you're talking about there, and you want to just use the player, so you're not trying to promote the SoundCloud page here, that particular part, you're using it as a player to go in other social media and other places online.
Yeah, just to kind of create sort of awareness of the track, I guess.
So a way to actually sort of stop this, and stop the pirates doing this, is simply to change the data that you're putting up there. The first 2 words of a title of a track, those have the biggest relevance score for Google. So, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong here, if we actually changed those then and say pushed the middle down to, the first 2, if you made them something that was fairly generic, then it means it's not going to get such a high relevance score. So when someone searches Z the middle, Google will return the things you want them to return, but not all of the click scan sites that are using the metadata from just SoundCloud or YouTube. So here, one of the things we were talking about was putting in front of the title just 2 words, like exclusive preview, wasn't it?
Yeah, or short clip or whatever.
Just trying to actually put a few words there just ahead of the title. Not the artist name, because Google knows that it's a track and actually knows the artist is going to have lots of different tracks. So instead it's actually the title of your release. If you actually try putting just a little bit of something in front of it, then actually that can help you a lot, because you don't generate all of these fake pages. Obviously on a page you're probably wanting to put up in Google, so if you've got a blog post or something like that, do put it in there properly, but it's when you're putting it as a track that's a preview on SoundCloud. Because the other thing is that, you know, as artists, you spend all the time, how long doing mastering on a track? Yeah, through the night, through the morning, and you put a lot of effort into it, don't you? Yeah? So the other problem is that some of these click scan sites look really, really good and legitimate, but actually, when you hit the download button, they're doing what's called stream ripping. Now, you've probably heard this bit of a buzzword around at the moment. Stream ripping is a type of click scan site. Converter is another one as well, and then you actually have one to just do malware and things like that. But in terms of stream ripping, a lot of them, they literally connect to the SoundCloud MP3 that you're streaming, but they just change a tiny bit of the data at the beginning to make your browser download it. So you'll be on one of these sites, you hit the download button, and you get an MP3. Now, if the user has been searching for a full version of your track, and they think that's what they've got, because it's about the right length, about the right size, and yet it's a 128 MP3 that's been crushed down, and you put your heart and soul into mastering and probably quite a lot of late nights and alcohol, then it means that, you know, that your product isn't actually getting seen in the way that you want it to. So all of that hard work and things has been crushed down. Would you want it to be represented as a 128? No, exactly. So you put a lot of effort into your art. And so here again is you've got the problem that if that's what they think they've got, then your product is being perceived like that as well. So it also comes down to actually, you know, the pride and making sure that what you've really tried so hard to do is really conveyed there as well. So that's certainly something for you guys to look at. Is that something that you feel you could manage? That fit in? Yeah, if these things you don't think would actually fit in with working day, then do say, because we can try and find some other ideas as well. So let's have a little look on. So we'll move on away from that to promo side of things. So promo at the moment, how do you guys do it? How are you doing, Nathan?
Particularly through Facebook, I do quite a lot through my artist page, but at the moment I'd say my bigger reach is probably through my personal page, just through contacts I've made over the years. and most of the people that support me, sometimes I do make that crossover to go and like your business page as such. So I still have them on my personal one. So I'm particularly
as a business page.
So it's on Facebook. Sorry, my artist page.
Right.
But
like Yelp or something.
There's, there's not a lot of traffic. There's not as much traffic through that as what I can get on my personal one. I think on my personal Facebook, to me, I get a lot of people that perhaps don't use Facebook that much, but would go on it just casually, and to see me updating that way, that's much more beneficial for them to engage with me as opposed to.
So do you find Facebook is the best sort of communication medium for you? Is it the one you get the most traction from when you do put a message out there, or are there other ones?
For me, it is. Twitter, I find not so much for me personally. I don't know about you guys. Twitter might work really well for you. One thing I do find is to engage new people quite a lot is Instagram. I often use that. The hashtags on there, I find a lot of people search for hashtags on Instagram, perhaps a lot more than they would on Facebook. So in terms of engagement with a new audience, that really works well for me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I use Fat Drop and direct email as well, especially to some. It depends what.
Is there a particular reason you went for direct email then, as opposed to?
Yeah, sometimes some people like to be treated or have an exclusive, so I might just send it to one or a couple of people, and yeah, I found that that's a good I get sometimes a better reaction than just doing a flat out email, but sometimes you can't just do 500 or 600 emails if you wanted to do a big mail out or a campaign, and that's where something like Fat Drop or one of the other companies like that works well. I personally use other specialists in their field like Power Promotions and other people like that who help on that side of things as well.
Does everyone here know that Facebook edits the stuff that you send? So when you say you're sort of friends on Facebook and I push out a message, that not all of you will see it. Do you know that? No? No. Really? Okay. So if you've got like a Nathan or a LikeSon page on Facebook, and I like it, and you guys do as well, and you actually push a message out on it, I won't necessarily see that. You didn't know that? So in my feed of stuff that I see from Facebook, if you on your page pushed out a new post, that I won't see that.
I kind of thought it was more about you would see things in order of perhaps who or what you engage with the most. So I was under the impression that perhaps if people didn't engage with my posts, but you scrolled far enough down, you would see it at some point.
Yeah, it's not, because that's actually in time. That's the sort of time series thing. And it's actually, if you think about it, how many, we all like so many things on Facebook because it's just there, isn't it? And, have hundreds of things. So if you imagine the volume of stuff that go flying by, plus all of, friends and acquaintances all posting things as well, it'd be quite insane. And so you've got to remember, Facebook actually edits, it's like a proper sort of film editor. He's always sort of, director is going through, snipping out bits and pieces and trying to only show you things that you will interact with. So it might, for example, learn that I'm friends with Paul and he's sort of like a particular thing, we've got similar sort of interests on the music side, so it might show that to me to sort of bring me into it as well. And it's all...
It's not strictly that.
No, it's complicated. It's all about an algorithm trying to work out what you are either going to enjoy or to try and get you into something new on there that it thinks you might like. The whole sort of point is they want you to on Facebook as much as possible, right? It's the minute your eyes are on there. And so here is a scenario that you've moved your sort of audience onto your Facebook page, and then when you're actually pushing out posts on there, is that they don't actually go to everyone who has liked you. It's because it might not show it to them if they haven't engaged with you recently or not been online. They're trying to, Facebook will try and edit it and show you something else instead that entice them back onto Facebook more, and then it might show you things. But it's not always sort of pushing it out there. So the message isn't always getting conveyed, which I was interested why you're looking at the email side, because obviously that is 100%. It does get there, whether they do then sort of see it or not. It will go past them in the mailbox unless it comes out spam. But assuming with Fat Drop and people like that, it won't obviously do that. Is that something you found though, Gav, as well, that when you're sort of pushing messages out, it doesn't get quite as far you want?
To be honest, I'm furious. People can't see my Facebook messages, they can't Google me. This whole thing's really angry, isn't it? I'm going to start writing people letters to tell them about my music now. Does post still work? Do people still get letters?
Letter in a bottle.
I'm just going to phone everyone, just work my way through the phone book, tell them I've got a song coming out, because nothing works anymore with what you're telling me. This This is so angry.
But do be aware, it's a business, this is why.
thing.
So when you see it on Facebook, when you push a post out from a page, it says, would you like to boost this? And you can pay to do that. And that's actually essentially what it's doing. It's pushing up the rankings so that it is something that would, get that penetration and therefore...
But isn't it, like Paul said, it's interaction, isn't it? So if you have a post that lots of people are commenting on, more people will see it. Is that not how it works?
You guys are doing the better things at the moment, Gavin, Ed, because you do live Facebook video.
Yeah, our live videos would get...
You get the engagement because people are watching live.
Yeah, we have like 1,000 comments, which puts it through where
do you want to say what you do a little bit? Because we know you, because you're sort of spamming us continuously with them, but do you want to tell everyone else what it is you're up to with the Facebook Live?
We just do every